Okay, so we're going to call the meeting to order. I've got 12:03, so we'll go ahead with that. Okay, do we have any public comment?
There are no members in the public at this time.
Okay, thank you. All right, we've got the April 2025 minutes. Anybody want to make a motion to approve?
So moved.
It's Vince, thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Jens. Okay, any corrections or changes or additions?
No.
Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes, raise your hand.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. Okay, commissioners, we're still one short, so if you know anybody, give me a heads up or Laura a heads up and we'll talk to them and see if we can twist their arm into joining. But we're good with four right now. I feel like we can conduct business. So it's not, I mean, we really should have five, so need to keep
Okay.
looking. Okay. Okay, finances. Okay, 2024-25 budget. For the first time that I've been in charge of this, we are gonna run out of money. On both the videographer line and the producer line. So there's some money from the other accounts that has not been used yet. So Laura, I'm gonna need some perspective from you, not right now, but what else you think is gonna come in on the miscellaneous categories. And I think we're gonna have to try to curb, I know it's probably too late, but curb some of the coverage that we're doing because we're gonna probably be 4,000 or 5,000 short. So,
Okay. I've been trying to do that already.
yeah. So I don't want to impact the quality of what we're doing, right? And I know we still have graduation and all that. I've got to give Maria a heads up though. Like I said, I need to be able to tell her how much can we use, from our other accounts, and then how much are we actually going to be short, and then, what do we need to do about that? Because, it's happened maybe once or twice before, but we were only a couple $100 short. So, but this time we're going to be a couple thousand. But for the right reason, because we're covering more, and so it is what it is. So any questions about that? Okay. On the 25-26 budget request, I meant to pull up the final budget before I got online today. I did not hear that they cut anything else because I never presented the town council. I've been knee deep in my grandson's stuff out here. So they didn't even put me on the schedule. I mean, Maria and Vicky knew that I was pretty tied up. So I don't know, Bill, can you look at it easily or? I'll look at it and get you guys and email you guys if there's anything that changed from the Board of Finance. Which
Okay.
was, we were in good shape with that, so. Okay, and I think Maria or Vicky would have let me know if they had cut any. I'm pretty sure they would have given me the heads up. Okay, so any more questions, any questions about the finances or?
Do we know what we're spending more money on this year than last year? I mean, since we didn't run out of money last year, did we?
No, we gave people, we upped the hourly rate. We definitely recorded more hours of
Okay.
programming. I actually thought we'd come in a little short, but I think we've more than made up for Richie's passing. So just more hours, and we have a couple more videographers. So I'm going to dig deeper into that, Laura. You and I really need to look so that we can manage for next year. But we're also coming in over on the supervising producer line. So we got to look at that a little bit too, because we just got to make a little bit of an adjustment, I think. Which we really weren't saying, oh, max this number of hours a week or whatever, but I think we probably need to put some guardrails in place so that we stay close, right?
Okay.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, good. Let's move on to programming. And I'm assuming, Laura, you're going to touch on graduation in particular.
Yes, I can start with that.
Okay.
We have a new student videographer who has come on board. She has come highly recommended by Matt Braxick. She's one of the students who records the theater events. So she's actually joined us as a student videographer. She's going to be helping us with graduation. So we've got coverage for
And her
graduation.
name is
Lynn Tran.
Lynn Tran, yep.
Yeah, she'll be a senior. I have another student who has expressed interest in recording as well. They'll both be seniors, so I don't know what their availability will be, but it'll be nice to have more students to join the.
But Lynn's a junior this year, right? So she'll
Right.
be, so that's why she
Right.
can record.
She and this other student who have expressed interest will be seniors next year.
Okay.
So, but graduation is pretty much set for the crew. I've sat in on the planning meetings. I just want to have a little sit down with everybody who's going to be on crew to kind of go over what's going to happen that day.
So who's on crew for us?
Who is on crew is
Because you've got a graduating senior, right? So somebody else
graduating senior
is running the show. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll be there obviously to set up and get everything ready to go, and I will be obviously on site. So Matt, Matt's going to be on board. He'll be our producer, our technical person. We've got Jens. We've got Drew Mezes coming back to record as well, which is great. And we'll have Lynn. So Lynn, Jens, and Drew will be recording on the turf. We can set up another camera up top, which nobody needs to man because that can just be a nice wide shot. And then Matt will be in the press box, probably with a little portable fan on him. Weather pending. Thank God we got those lightweight polos for everybody, so nobody has to sit in a soaking wet cotton polo this year. So yeah, that's our crew. Like I said, Lynn will be joining us definitely. And then another student, Amanda, you probably know Joao, who's in the front ensemble for marching band. Great kid, super responsible. He just wasn't sure about his work schedule. So I just said, don't worry about it either way. If he's there, he can sit with Matt and kind of just observe and sort of be, help out, because sometimes it helps to have an extra set of hands to do whatever. He could be a runner if need be, if we need that. So that's graduation. So I feel much, I can breathe about that.
Lara, who's gonna run the actual? I mean, we're going to be switching cameras and stuff.
Yeah, that's Matt.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, and you'll all have headsets.
Okay, I've never done a graduation before.
It's like I'll do a Zoom, or you and I can sit down and I can just talk you through it. I did the same with Lynn. Drew and Matt have recorded several. So
okay, excellent.
I think I have full confidence in you, Jens. That you can
you know what? Not as much as I have in you.
Thank you. No, but it's not that tough. What's going to happen is, again, you've seen graduation. So sometimes, hi, Mike, we're just talking about graduation. So, again, you've seen it where the speakers, the only time that it gets a little potentially hairy is when they start calling the names, because then we go to a split screen. So that's when the videographers just need to listen to Matt, and he's going to have to, kind of have you cheat the shots to make it look good.
So Laura, I think it would be a good idea if you at least did a Teams call with whoever's going to be working that day, especially since you're going to need to step back after setup so that everybody asks the questions and hears the same answers. And
I mean, even if it's a Zoom call, I still want to get everybody together just so, everybody's seen each other's face. So, who you're going to be on the field with, whether you're standing right next to them or not. So that's pretty much, that's graduation. We're gonna live stream it, as we always do. And then Jens, your camera, what I'm thinking is your camera will be on C House, which is by the audio tent. So the audio feed will go through your camera. That
Okay.
does, yeah, that's the only, the only thing that's different is that you'll have that XLR cable going into your camera as opposed to the others. But,
Yeah.
other than that, we record, just as a backup. We're gonna record on SD cards on each of the cameras, just to make sure. We're gonna grab the audio from the cameras, again, just as backup. And then, Jeff, I think is Pete gonna be on
Yeah,
site?
yes, Pete will be there for the graduation as well.
Awesome.
Are
So we
you,
will.
are you gonna do any testing the day before, or with the hardwired, you're pretty confident there?
I'm more than happy to test before. I would rather be, safe. I still plan on hardwiring it because that worked well
Yes.
for us last year.
Yeah. Excellent.
So.
Yes, let's test the day before.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll make sure Pete's available for that. So he can
Thank
show up on
you.
site.
And then again, I'll be in touch with everybody. So if anybody, Jens, if you're available, Matt, we can set up a couple cameras. Obviously, it's kind of hard to replicate 1,000+ people sitting in the stands and 500 kids on the field, but we'll do what we can.
Yeah.
Just as a reminder, when we look at viewing statistics, right, at the end of the year, when we're doing budget stuff, this is always the
Yep.
most viewed.
Yeah.
This is big deal. So we want
Yeah.
to,
No pressure. We just have, the superintendent of schools and the principal of the high school and, all coming up to me going, "You're ready for this, right?" So,
This is
There
why
are-
I never film weddings, because the stress is just too much.
2 years ago, the Wi-Fi, I couldn't get the signal out. So that was
I
fun.
know, I remember.
That was fun. I was like, nothing like flop sweat happening on an already hot, steamy day.
Jared, from a marketing question or marketing perspective, this is live streamed to the YouTube channel, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And then do you put up a recording later?
I leave the live stream up, but once it's been edited, and I put a title on it and I trim
Okay.
everything, then yes, I do repost it so people can see the package piece.
Okay.
Nothing really-
Okay.
The only thing that changes really is just there's a fancy title and people aren't
Okay.
waiting, and maybe the audio is a little finessed, but other than that, it's pretty much the same thing.
Pretty much the same. Okay.
and Mike, we're promoting it at the high school so the parents know.
Yes, a letter went out yesterday to all the families, saying,
Got that.
and if not, then Todd will also, his messages for the next 2 weeks before graduation will remind parents.
And we'll get,
Okay.
and the link will go out. It'll have its own link.
Excellent.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
great. All right. Anything else you need to prepare, Laura? It sounds like we coordinated and
I have people,
aligned.
the only thing I want to do is get some more SD cards just as backup. So
Okay.
that's, but that's not a huge expense.
Nope.
Because those things, I swear they grow legs, but yeah, so that's graduation. General programming, again, we're covering all the usual stuff. Sports, the regular season sports is done. The concerts are done. The concerts have not run just because sports are more timely. This actually can be helpful for us in terms of programming because the further out into the summer the concerts push, the fewer new programming we will need. And the other thing that's helped us a lot is there seems to have been a lot more government programming, a lot more government meetings this spring than there have been in the past. So that kind of minimizes how much adult education we can run. So that's helped us in terms of, we have a lot in the can. And
Well, and that's also impacted the spend on videographers.
Right. So hopefully, I'm hoping that, like I said, we've kind of front loaded it so that the only thing right now I have in this for the summer are those gazebo concerts. And those are just once a week on Tuesdays. So that's the only thing that I have right now. Obviously there'll be things happening at the library and the senior center that can be recorded, but don't have to be.
Okay.
So you and I can go over.
Yeah, we got to run some numbers because I
Yeah.
think we're finally going to need to put in place just some, again, guardrails on so that we're not so far in the year going.
Yeah.
We're going to go over, right?
Yeah, and I think that'll be helpful too, just for planning purposes in the future, just so I can estimate
Yeah.
X number of hours of programming per month, and
Okay.
because we, again, as Jens has said, we've never in the past really had this problem, so I've never
Yeah,
had to,
we have.
I've never had to look at the schedule and say, oh, where should we focus our time? It's more like, hey, let's cover as much as we can. So, and that's not a bad thing. It's,
And I feel like we have a great stable of videographers right now.
yes. Yep.
I get their invoices generally in a timely manner. Oh, I did want to tell you, I forgot about this. Under the finances, so there's been changes at the finance department in town, and that's impacted the speed of processing a lot of things, but they did promote Lisa LeBono up to Dan Martin's position. They still have to fill hers, but and they've got an new AP person or someone filling the AP slot because Joanna left. So I think it's starting to calm down there. So hopefully any of the videographers that have experienced delays in getting checks, I think that's going to start to smooth out. It's just been a bumpy couple of months. But they're doing their best. And again, now that some of the slots have been resolved, I think we're going to see some speedier resolution. So I appreciate everybody's patience. Okay, anything else on programming, Laura?
Yesterday was the 3rd annual Trumbull High School Food Truck Wars. So I was down there with a camera and a mic, but holy cow, they changed the format a little bit. So they did it on an advisory day. So the kids were able to set up their food trucks in the commons at dismissal. And by the time I got down there, which was, I don't know, 15 minutes after dismissal, like food sold out, kids are packing up. I'm like, no, put that back. I need to talk to you. So I was still able to get footage, but it was kind of funny that, it was like mayhem. Controlled mayhem.
Good mayhem.
For sure.
Yeah.
So who
I
won?
was just gonna say controlled mayhem. Controlled mayhem. That's what we like to hear.
Yeah. It wasn't out of control mayhem. It was like, no, it was great.
High school kid mayhem.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Herding cats mayhem. But like I was expecting, in the past, it's been during school periods. So I've always had a lot of time to get a lot of B-roll, but I came down and I was like, oh, next year, if this is the way it happens, I'm coming down as soon as they start setting up and just parking in there. So now I know.
So who won?
I don't know if it's so much a contest.
Oh, it's
I don't know. It's fun because there's some of the kids have savory trucks, some of them have sweet trucks. So there's a little bit of everything. And it's nice. It's great. The kids do a great job because again, the marketing I don't know. I think everybody pretty much knows what's going on, but like all the marketing kids develop all of the design work and the menu, but the culinary kids design the menu and do the baking and do all that stuff. And there's actually they were actually selling food, which was kind of fun.
So cool.
So, yeah, they've gone from Monopoly money to actual cash. So it's
raises the stakes for everybody.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, my
Love
son
it.
was a little disappointed that he didn't sell out. I said, well, maybe you got to pick a better product. I don't know what to tell you.
What
Bring
was
some of
he?
your
What was he
cookies.
making? What was he selling?
His was the coffee cake food truck called Rise and Grind, which I thought was clever. But I mean, coffee cake at 12:45 when the guy next to you is selling tacos it's a tough sell.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good lesson, though.
absolutely.
Timing and marketing.
Well, and he was telling me too that there were different slots. You had to sign up for a particular position in, and the tables and where your truck is set up.
Oh.
And yeah, there's a whole layer of
Strategy, yeah.
yeah, so this is life, you want to open a business, you don't get to pick which store, you get what's open. So,
Right.
Nice.
yeah. So
All
it's
right, next time, maybe the commission needs to come and observe and eat.
yeah, come
think-
for lunch.
Yeah.
In an advisory role.
Yes, serious and advisory role. All right, anything else on programming?
No, like I said, I mean, summer I think will be good. We'll have the concerts, and summer's usually when we run repeats anyway. So we've got all the school concerts, we've got the gazebo concerts coming up, and whatever else we'll record will just be pending, Kate, what you and I decide are like the budget pending information
Okay,
or programming. So I like I said, I'm not overly concerned. If we have to run repeats all summer, we run repeats all summer. Wouldn't be the
Okay.
first time.
okay, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Oh dear, hold on. All right, so let's move on to technical. I put like literally everything that we talked about last time on this list, so hopefully we can check them off. All right, so studio update. Everything working?
The control room, yeah, it's still in good shape. Yeah. We haven't really been using it for much. The kids have been in a little bit more, but not very much either because it's the end of the year.
But you expect that'll pick up in the fall with the new
Yep.
class? Okay. All right, Sling Studio status?
Knock wood, it's still been working.
Okay. Then we were talking about the universal power source, and you were talking to Jeff's team about a temporary fix. Did that all get resolved?
Well, we spoke of it last month. We went in there and the UPS that we have has they're larger UPSs, so is a different electrical outlet than is in the studio. So the only UPS that would match the electrical outlet was a smaller one, and it wouldn't be enough to power the whole rack. So at that point, we said there's no point in just having the server if everything else was down. So we left off last month, I thought with you were just going to double check to make sure the UPS was in the studio upgrade. So we haven't done
Yes.
anything differently, with regards to that. That being said, the power outage, they did fix the generator, which the studio is a part of. So I mean, there might be some benefit in the meantime to put the smaller UPS just on the server to protect it in case there's a surge or something like that, if that's the most expensive piece of equipment. But
Yeah, I think that
I mean,
makes
something to
sense.
consider at least.
Yeah, it's definitely part of the capital request built into that. So we're, getting closer to being able to pull the trigger on that. But I think even if we can temporarily protect the integrity of that piece of equipment, that seems to make sense. Laura, do you agree, Jeff?
I agree.
Okay. Okay. How's your PC, Laura?
Much better now. Now that, yeah, thank you to Pat for re-imaging it. It's definitely helped.
Okay. Okay, video on demand audio quality. I think Jens, you had brought that up and we were talking about ways to fix that. Did we come up with anything, or where are we?
So I haven't done anything. What I did notice was that when I was at the last meeting when I was going to show you how bad it wasn't bad at all. So that's really I'm trying to find out what's going on there, because I know all the stuff that gets uploaded is in good quality. It just sometimes it looks as if you get poor quality out to the clients or the users. So I haven't looked into it anymore since then.
Okay, sorry, we have the garbage truck cleanup going on behind me, if you can hear that. All right, so Jens, you're going to keep looking at that.
Yep.
Okay. All right, then then Yenju had talked about the community room at the library, the whole projector, we were gonna get another HDMI. I
Yes,
think was-
DNR was going to provide us with an HDMI out that we could record from. So basically, we will record whatever goes on the projector, which is really useful because sometimes the presenters are just showing slides. But for instance, there was a lady in there talking about how you use LinkedIn for promotion for marketing. And of course, she brings up LinkedIn and she logs on to LinkedIn and does her stuff, which makes total sense. But you can't get the slides for that because it's a live. So if we could record the projector just as if it were another camera and we could just mix it in whenever we wanted to. So the more I think about it, the better an idea it is. I haven't followed up with Don at DNR, and I haven't heard back from him, but I will. I spoke to Stefan, the director at the library, and he had quite a few questions about the system that I couldn't answer. You know, if they wanted to live stream from the library, I don't know if we've ever done that, but he was asking if it was possible, and I think it is, but I'm not sure. Laura, you're saying no?
That was part of, it was discussed with ARPA funding. But that was one of the rooms, that was one of the rooms that we had discussed giving live stream capability, but it does not have it right now.
Okay.
That's a whole separate project that I think
I get it.
yeah.
I didn't have an answer for him. He was just, he has no idea what this stuff is, and I really don't either. But
right. But I think the HDMI out makes a lot of sense, being able to record the projector's feed, because it seems that just from the library programming, they seem to be doing more of this interactive type where they were using, how to use your library account to read books or to listen to podcasts and to some more interactive things where they are showing some real-time use where it is helpful.
Yeah. And, you know, of course you can record it with the camera, but the quality is just
terrible.
Is not good. So if you're looking at some detailed, where some, you know, this lady with the LinkedIn, she was talking about how to fill in your profile and, you know, which buttons to press and which options to select from a drop down. It really is difficult to see it on the recording. So I'm still pursuing that.
Okay, so the solution for that is an HDMI out cable from DNR.
Yes, and some configuration. There's a box on the wall with all their equipment, and they need to configure it. But according to Don, it's not a big job as such. They just need to schedule it, and I need to remind them that they promised to do it.
Okay. All right, so you're going to take care of that.
Yep, you put it on as my action item.
Thank you. Okay, then the power outage at THS, I think Mike said, or Jeff said, it pretty much went as planned and accomplished what we had hoped it would.
Yes, they finally got the generator where it's transferring correctly and all the back powered lighting comes on. So I don't think they're going to be shutting it down for 2 or 3 hours anymore. They had to do it like 3 or 4 times to get it, because the generator company kept bringing the wrong part or whatever they thought was wrong. It wasn't fixing it. So I believe it's resolved now.
Okay, so is this something that you do annually just to make sure everything's still working right, or? We
did a test of the building because it's an area of refuge, but the when we did that, there was a lot of the lighting that didn't come on. So I think they found a lot of areas of concern. So that, you know, they were addressing those. I mean, normally they'll do a test of it, which will be like, you know, 5 or 10 minutes. It won't be half a day like that was.
Okay, cool. So they'll continue to do those 10-minute ones, but they won't need a couple-hour one unless they find some problem with the 10-minute one.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay, anything else technical? Any other issues that anybody's seen or want us to address?
Not for me.
Okay, let's move on to marketing PR. Now, Amanda, I realized that I didn't get a chance to look at your strategy, but everybody was responding positively. So I don't know if you want to, how you want to handle this, if you want to put it up on the screen? Or
Yeah.
you just want to walk us through it?
I'll just walk us through it. It's pretty straightforward. Basically, I set up some 12-month goals for us in terms of the social media. We want to increase our online brand awareness, improve community engagement, increase referral traffic to the YouTube and video on demand. And then we can also use it to generate leads through call to actions when we need more videographers or volunteers or different things like that. I talk about what our target audiences are, and that's all the feedback that I've gotten from you. It's our families and parents, it's young professionals and adults, senior citizens, students and educators, and then local organizations like Trumbull Historical Society and the Nature Center. Right now, I think I touched on this last time. We have 2,356 followers on Facebook. We have 6, although it went up to 10, I just noticed, on Instagram, and 6 on X. So I think our goal is just to raise those numbers. X, we're going to determine what we're going to put out there and whether we should really be focusing more on LinkedIn, which I think for the type of programming that we have and the type of viewers that we have, it would be a good place for us to have a presence. And then I just touched on a posting schedule. I think in the beginning and listening to what Laura was talking about in terms of the programming for the summer, we're going to start with a 3 times a week posting. So Mondays are going to be about meetings that are happening in the government. Wednesdays could be about adult education or other types of programming that's happening. And Fridays could be concerts and things like that. I think, Lara, if we can start to coordinate, what I would like to do is when you set up the on-air production schedule that you put out, maybe we touch base on what we think we should be promoting. Which game was the better game to kind of highlight those kinds of things, so that we start to get a kind of a schedule together. And then you'll continue to post the schedule as you have been through Buffer, if that's all right.
Yep.
Okay, that's helpful.
Oh, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in. You just reminded
No.
me of something too that was suggested to me by Erica Pivor and the Arts Commission, that they're going to be having cooking demonstrations at the farmers market. So if we want to go and cover that, we can record some of that as original programming as well. So that could be something we can include.
That would be great.
Yeah.
That's a challenge, though. Just
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Outdoor.
Camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And then
We'll send you, Jens, because you're up for the challenge.
I used 2 cameras on the Need to Know, KNEAD to know. She managed to bake two loaves of bread while I was there, and I got most of the ingredients and the completed product also. But it was touch and go, I can tell you that.
Garrett has done that. Yeah, there have been a couple. I think there was the chef from, what was it, Lobo Reyes. He had recorded, did a 2-camera shoot too.
Well, it would all be great stuff for marketing.
I think it's great. It's great content, no doubt about it.
Definitely. So what I plan to do moving forward is just give metric updates, how we're growing the page, what types of interactions we're getting, and branding. I've been playing in Canva a little bit, just making sure that anything that we put out there always has the logo on it and we're using the right colors. We can obviously switch it up as things go along. But I think the summer is a good time to allow us to start to ramp up and then get ready for election season and fall sports and all of that. So that is the plan for social media. I met with Lara and we talked about the cards and like rack cards for the library, the existing business cards that she has. So I was able to do I've created all of the files. We have a rack card. One thing is that she does have posters in the office that we need to kind of pull out and look at and see if we can just repurpose them as something that could go up at different events, to say that we're recording, or if we need to just recreate something new. But everything is designed and ready to go. I can get them printed. I didn't know if, in terms of putting the QR code labels on the back of the business card, if we might be able to use a student volunteer for that, to get some hours in, and maybe Lara could sign off on that, since I wouldn't be able to, because I have a student in mind. My own.
I both have
That's a good
students who
choice.
can help
Excellent
out.
choice.
Yeah, we both do. So I could sign yours, and you could sign mine.
Perfect. Deal.
But that would be great to get that done. And then Jens, you know, as you were saying, those cards can just go right into the cameras. Anybody's that's shooting and asks, you can hand that out.
Mhm.
The rat card, Lara actually designed it at Vistaprint. I took what you did and brought it over to Canvas so that we can modify it easier, because that thing, the program that they use in Vista is kind of a pain. But I loved the look of it, so I recreated the background and everything. So I'll send that around so everybody can see it. I don't think it'll show well on the if I share my screen.
This
So,
is incredible. Like, I got to tell you,
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
really is.
Vince, you remember how long we've been doing this, and this is the first time that I feel like we really have sort of a professional approach, or any approach to marketing. So it's wow. I feel like I want to like go to John Anik and say, "See, we
did it.
We finally got here." So Amanda, so appreciate your work. Not just the strategy, but you know that you're ready to go with everything. It's just amazing. Really,
thank you.
really glad you're here.
I'm excited to be here.
I agree.
I found a good place.
All right, I'm psyched. This is and then to be able to track the metrics, like, well, that just gives us that much more ammunition come budget time, right? So we can show
Exactly.
what we've been, the
Yeah.
outreach and the impact of that. So really, really amazing. Thank you so much.
The other thing I just want to say is this is the hardest part of growing social media, is that you need people to kind of be your social media ambassadors. So if all of you are on Facebook or Instagram or both, please make sure that you actually like our pages. And then also just share, because once you share on your own pages, that's where it gets picked up by other people in town, and they begin to share, and then they begin to follow us, and it grows from there. But we kind of have to be the core group that sends it out.
So maybe we should be thinking about, the commission needs to think about that specifically, like who else, what's our next ring of people that we know will support what we're doing, right? We know we have advocates in the town government. We know we have advocates at the PTA. We know we have, you know, people that are at least aware of what we're trying to do.
Right.
So trying to make sure that we're asking them to amplify as well.
Mhm. And also I don't know who has recently taken over Trumbull Historical Society's social media, but bravo to them. They're doing a fantastic job. And anytime we do any events with them, cross posting with each other. And, that also helps. Just
same thing with the library.
We're so small, right? And the same with the library. And they've upped it as well. They even have a TikTok page that they're promoting on, which is great. So yeah, any kind of outreach like that. The issue is that we're so small right now, the algorithm doesn't see us as anything other than a blip.
I mean, other small departments in town do help, like the senior center definitely will, has been forwarding things. The health department has done the same. I'm not sure who is doing the social media for Trumbull Historical Society, but my contact is a former band mom, so that helps.
Oh, okay. Good. That's great.
Yeah.
And I did end up, I wrote out just a very small, straightforward script for the library or for the senior center to use beforehand. I just don't know who to contact to get them the information.
I could forward that along.
Okay.
each, you know, again, each event,
Has somebody different?
depending on what it is, like there are
Okay.
somebody, if it's more of a children's event where it's like a college prep type thing, then it's somebody different than who does the Oscars talk, for instance.
So would
Okay.
we be better off having a couple of those scripts in the camera bag so that the videographer can be the contact to whoever at the senior center or library happens to be hosting or emceeing the event? Would that work better? Or
I think
think
that would,
that's-
it couldn't hurt to have those printed on, you know, whether, you know, like a half sheet of paper or something,
Right.
you know, cardstock, just a few of them so that they can be handed out.
It's
Yeah, I
sometimes very,
think,
it's
go ahead,
sometimes
Dan,
very
sorry.
useful when you want them to send you the presentation that they just gave, you know, the PowerPoint slides. If you hand them a card, you know, they just, yeah, I'll send it to you when I get home. And they usually do. I have my own card. I just give them that. And then they send me the presentation and then I use it when I edit.
but we're talking about what we want them to say about us at the
Right, at the
beginning.
beginning,
okay.
to let,
got it.
right, to
Yeah.
let them know that it is being recorded and you will be able to watch it,
Yeah, of
you know,
course.
on demand in the future. So I think it's good for us to do kind of a general outreach to the main people that we contact at all of those organizations, but then also,
So-
like you're saying, Kate, have it available.
And maybe it's just a stack of a script that has some blanks in it so that
Exactly.
you can hand it out and
Right.
they can fill in, today's program and anything else they want to tailor to the
Yep.
specific presentation. So that we get that intro every single time. But
And I
yeah,
think
okay,
that'll
so I
be
think
helpful.
both. Yeah.
That'll be helpful, Kate, I agree, because I found that a lot of the, you know, most of the times when we record, everybody is very gracious and they always say this, you know, most of the time, even at the school concerts, oh, this is being recorded for Trumbull, but sometimes we're called Trumbull Public Television, we're called, you know, and then they say, oh, Channel 13, you know, so I think it'll be helpful to have something with the correct, not just verbiage, but the correct verbiage and how we want to direct people
Yeah.
to where we want them to go.
Perfect.
So exciting. So excited. You have no idea. So Amanda, what other help do you need? Right? We had hoped to sort of have somebody, you know, identified to support you. That doesn't seem to be fleshing out now. We can definitely, I think Laura maybe do some outreach into the marketing department at the high school, or I don't know, work some, you know, look at whoever else we know that might be able to give us some time each week to help you. Because I don't want to, I feel like we kind of promised you that and we haven't really, you know, followed through.
It's okay. I think right now in the beginning, getting it established, it's better for me to kind of be hands-on so I can really be watching the numbers and seeing what the kind of reactions are. Once we get into more of a pattern, a marketing student would be wonderful to give them that type of experience. So, you know, I'd be more than willing to work with someone like that, or a recent grad or something, you know, where they need that type of experience.
Okay. Yeah, I think I agree with you. If I was in your position, I'd kind of want to be controlling everything initially just to make sure I can see how it works.
Right.
Before handing tasks off, delegating to anybody
Yeah.
else. So, okay, I appreciate that. So, we're going to look for you to raise your hand and say, okay, I think I'm ready to do some delegation.
I will. I
Couple of
promise.
months or whatever. Okay, cool.
Okay.
I have a quick question. Have we ever used LinkedIn before? I mean, it's a great idea that Amanda proposed. Have we ever posted anything on LinkedIn? Do we have an account on LinkedIn?
We don't. And that was the other question, actually. Thank you for bringing that up, Jens. All of our names are very different. Our handles on each of the different pages.
And what was available.
What was based on, okay. And I want to make sure that we try to use similar if we do LinkedIn, so we're not getting another different name that we have to
Yeah,
use.
well,
So-
yeah, part of the problem was some of these, like some accounts had already been set up in the past, and I don't know who owned them. and I don't have access to them. So I had
Gotcha.
to kind of, that's why the YouTube channel ended up being TCTV Trumbull, not Trumbull Community Television, because that already existed. And yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
All right,
why
I'll
don't
do-
you two decide what the Instagram, I mean, the LinkedIn should be? I mean, I'm sure you can
Okay.
figure something out that
Yeah,
works.
absolutely.
And
I'll
then
see
tell
what's
us.
available and we'll go from
Great.
there. But
And
yeah,
I'll
and
friend
LinkedIn,
you as soon as you create it.
sounds good.
You don't have friends on LinkedIn, you have
I know.
connections.
It's just being annoying. I have a lot of connections, so
Sure, yeah,
the
I know.
word will get out. But it'll be chemical manufacturing people going, what? Okay, this is awesome. This is the most we've had to write about for marketing PR ever
Since our survey
since our survey. Yeah.
and our,
Oh.
didn't we do farmers market bags or something?
Yeah, a long time ago.
years
We
ago?
actually, my farmer's market bag, Trumbull farmer's market bag has finally worn out. So I've got to go back and go buy a new one this year. All right, so trying to keep ourselves to an hour. We still have the Trumbull High Connection to talk about. Anything?
I
Of
actually
note?
shot an email to Jeff Cochran to ask him what was going on.
Mhm.
So Mike, I don't know if you have anything.
No, I was gonna talk about the events, right? I wanted to thank Jens for being at our BEI, recording that for us. That was a great event that we
It
had.
was a great event, fabulous.
Awesome. And then, like Laura said, she was here yesterday trying to take some B-roll for our food truck wars. And obviously our big event coming up is our graduation that we're looking forward to. But I would love to hear, what, Jeff said about, upcoming events for his club and class.
Yeah, so they are going live with their news show, hopefully on May 30th, which is a week from tomorrow. Yeah, they've been, we were the past couple of weeks, the kids have been meeting, getting some B-roll. I know he's been working on, some branding and how the studio works. So he said that, again, just to remind everybody, Soaring Eagle Studios has 3 components. There's a podcasting component, there'll be the daily news component, and then interviews. Digital Media 2 has been confirmed and curricula is being written over the summer.
Yay, yay.
Yay.
And Jeff said he will be writing it, and it's basically the news show, the daily announcements put on by the kids. At this point right now, there's 12 signed up, but he thinks it'll likely fill up as the year approaches. But still, 12 is a great start.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Digital Media 1 says 4+ classes, 18 per class scheduled next year. And Digital
Wow.
Media 1 is the feeder for Digital Media 2, which is great. So he said you can also qualify for Digital Media 2 by being a theater tech, because a lot of those kids, lighting, cameras. And that's actually how I got Lynn Tran through Matt, because he said that, I said, I need a kid who, really gets shot composition. He's like, she's the one. So and he said, things have been slow with the club, but they've worked out a lot of high level things, branding, how the studio works. And I think it was a really good experience for them just to kind of see how to, they had really big ideas, which is great, but it was definitely a learning experience for them to discover that big ideas don't come to fruition very quickly. Because there's a lot, as we all know, all the little things that have to happen. So this has been a prep year, but I think next year they'll have a lot of content and some amazing things. And I think the Digital Media 2 class will definitely be a big help. And I know that Amanda's daughter, Elizabeth, has been, she's been part of the Soaring Eagle Studios Club. She came in and helped out running around the school with some B-roll. I gave the kids the cameras. I'm like, we're like, just go run around the school, record stuff, just go record things. And so they did that and came back. So I think they're just, like I said, I know that one of the students has been working with Jeff in terms of putting every couple of the kids, everybody's starting to show their areas of interest. Who wants to be more the producer, who likes to be behind the camera, who's comfortable in front of the camera. Elizabeth was phenomenal in front of the camera. Her screen test was awesome. I was She did great.
She's very excited. They're recording today, I think, and she's been at home working on her script. Like, Jeff had written something out, and then she said, "Mom, I need to put my own spin on this." And
And
so
he said that to them. He said, look, I wrote this the way I talk. This may not be comfortable for you. You need to write the way you talk. So
Right.
he's been great. He's great. He's super helpful. He did this in, I think Mike had explained this to us a while ago. He had done this in New Zealand with his students. So he's super enthusiastic. I think he also teaches wood shop. So I know he was talking about like designs for a news desk. I'm like, good, go. Love it. Love it. Thank you. So, it's all, again, it's been a lot of planning because everybody's realizing it takes a lot of work to get everything off the ground, but I'm excited. They're great kids, the kids who want to help out. Like there are 5 or 6 core kids who are really excited. And I think they're going to be the ones who push a lot of this forward. And I think once other kids start seeing this video, that more people are going to go, oh, that's cool. I want to do that too. So, and I think that's the hurdle that they need to get over, is that initial piece of work to get everybody excited about what they can do.
So this is another area that we have really struggled to make happen over the years. So to have 2 of our initiatives really make progress is really like, wow. So
Yes.
Mike, thank you to the teachers and advisors that have stepped up. Laura, obviously, for your being the, the person in their minds, that keeps this all together. I mean, I think we're really going to see the payoff, and it's incredible. I love it.
Yeah,
love
I'm
it.
really excited. Once it goes up, I will share the video with you guys so you can see what the kids are doing. And I keep sharing opportunities with them. Like I did invite some of the students to help out with recording the food truck wars. But again, I think at this point in the year, a lot of the kids are like, I just got to go home. And I get it. It's totally understandable. But, I think once all this stuff happens, and I've said to them too, like, look, if you want to create content that's appropriate for the station, we are happy to share it. So I'm, trying to kind of, I want them to do all this stuff for the high school, but we also want to give them that opportunity, especially for the interview pieces, to have a broader audience. And I mean, Kate and I, you guys know, Kate and I have always been very pro, let's show off what these kids can do, because it's only going to help the town.
Great. Wow. I feel like a lot of things are just really coming together, and it feels really good. So I think we should all be pretty proud of the progress. All right, I don't have anything else on the agenda. Does anybody else have anything they want to bring up or add? Our next meeting is July 10th. So Laura, if you need anything in the interim before, when exactly is graduation? I don't even know.
June 10th, Tuesday, June 10th. So where are we?
God, that's so early. Like we had no snow days or hardly any this year.
1, maybe? I think,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, oh, there's so much. It's ridiculous how many things are happening between now and
Yeah.
10th, and how many things are going to actually still happen after, like, postseason sports is probably going to happen after graduation.
Wow.
Yeah, well, my senior, my middle one is on the volleyball team, and right now state semifinals is scheduled for June 10th.
Holy moly.
Which is graduation.
Yeah.
Kidding me?
I know. Of course it is. Of course
Of course it is.
So
Oh my God.
What time is the graduation?
4:45.
4:45.
Well, I spoke to the coach. Usually what happens is when you get to that point, the 2 athletic directors will
Work it out.
Yeah, they'll figure it out. Because I mean, with what, 160 something school districts in the
Right.
state of Connecticut, like
You're gonna hit one.
at this point of the year yeah, definitely. So there's no way, like I know Norwalk graduates June 6th. So yeah, you're definitely going to hit stuff.
Well, hopefully we make it far enough.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, cool. All right. Anybody have anything else to discuss?
No.
All right. This feels really good. Our next meeting, like I said, is July 10th. So if anything comes up in the interim, let Laura and I know, and thank you all for your engagement and your support. This really feels like we're accelerating our impact, and that's what it's been all about. So thank you, Mike. Good luck with the end of the year. Jeff, you too. Hopefully nothing breaks. Bill, as always, thank you. Everybody have a great rest of the week, and keep me posted on how graduation goes. I will be back in Connecticut by then, though, I think. So,
Okay.
okay. All right, I will see you guys.